Did you see that hit? A 35-mile-per-hour smash that turned the front of a Cybertruck into scrap in a blink. Hey everyone, I'm Morgan Lane. Breathe with me. I'm a car safety investigator, and we're going to unpack what that clip really shows. In Tesla's official frontal test, the windscreen looks completely destroyed and the front bumper crumples hard. Airbags flash open. Body parts fracture into tiny pieces. But the key detail I look for? No cabin breach. The A-pillar stand, the passenger cell holds. That contrast, violent front damage, intact cabin, is the whole story starter. Elon Musk once said, "If you have an argument with another car, you will win." Bold line. Tonight we tested against the data. I pulled the NHTSA crash reports in the engineering notes, so you don't have to. We'll go frame by frame, then match what we saw to official scores. If you like clear, fact-based breakdowns, tap. Like now, so more folks see this. You're watching Recall Roadmap with Morgan. What did we just see in that smash-up, and what can it tell us about Cybertruck safety? Hold that thought, because next we check the numbers to see if the visuals match reality. Here's how I read that clip, step by step. At about 2 seconds, the nose hits the barrier. Crunch. The stainless hood and front bumper burst outward, almost like a metal snowball exploding. In Tesla's 35 mph frontal test, the windshield blows into shards and the front area folds. I also see doors getting knocked partly off their hinges. Yes, that's intentional to bleed off force. A good sign follows right after. Driver and passenger airbags fire instantly, big and round, catching the dummies' torsos. That tells me the crash sensors and algorithms woke up fast. Look close at the debris. You'll notice the front underbody casting doesn't fold as one piece. It fractures into many tiny pieces. Tesla says they designed it this way to absorb energy more efficiently. Through all of it, the A-pillars don't buckle in, and I'm not seeing cabin intrusion. That's exactly what you want. Big damage where it's allowed, zero collapse where people sit. It looks impressive on video, but here's my rule. If it's truly by design, the test scores will back it up. Drop a heart if you saw how the energy was soaked up. Now, let's see how those official ratings line up with what we just watched. Engineered for maximum safety. That's Tesla's message all over the Cybertruck materials. The company shows crash cans tucked in the frame and giant castings that shatter into small bits to move force away from you. They even lean into the tough shell idea. Ultra-hard steel outside, smart crumple inside. And remember that Musk quip, "If you have an argument with another car, you will win." I love confidence, but I live in the numbers. Some safety engineers were cautious early on. Their worry, if the skin is very rigid, does that spike the force you feel? Tesla's answer is those internal crash cans and replaceable front castings acting like hidden crumple zones. The video evidence we just watched does support that idea. The front end is a sacrificial zone. The cabin stays unbent. The airbags pop as they should. Still, marketing is marketing. I pulled the filings and the test summaries to separate hype from physics. Comment Tesla if you buy the strategy, or Tesla if you want more proof. Now let's move from claims to cold numbers. Did the Cybertruck really earn top marks when the government sent it into the wall in the poll? The scorecard will tell us. So how did it score? The Cybertruck earned a 5-star overall rating from NHTSA. That's the top mark. Breaking it down, in the 35 mph frontal crash, the driver's seat scored 5 stars. The front passenger seat scored 4 stars because the passenger side knee airbag did not deploy. By design. Inside impacts, including the moving barrier at 38.5 mph and the rigid pole at 20 mph, it scored 5 stars for both front and rear seating. No structure failures reported there. The only less than perfect result was rollover resistance. It got 4 stars with a 12.4% chance of a tip in a single vehicle spin. Even so, in dynamic testing, it remained stable. For the timeline nerds like me, testing was handled by Applus plus Idiota in late 2024, and the final reports went public January 15th, 2025. I pulled those reports, so we're not guessing. Big picture, a new radical truck earning 5 stars overall is impressive. But numbers invite questions. Why does the passenger get 4 stars? What trade-offs did Tesla make to get this result? Keep that in your back pocket because next we'll open the hood, literally, and talk about the structure that makes these scores possible. How can a flat stainless shell be both strong and safe? Here's the trick. The Cybertruck skin uses ultra-hard, 30x cold-rolled stainless steel. That outside is tough. But the real safety magic lives underneath. At the corners are crash cans. Think of them like metal soda cans that crush in a controlled way. The big front and rear castings are designed to fracture into many small pieces on impact. That spreads out the load before it ever reaches you. Tesla even jokes, it's not about the size of the crumple zone, it's how you use it. I also like the modular idea. Those cans and castings are replaceable, which can turn some heavy repairs into part swaps instead of cut and weld jobs. Now, is the shell nearly bulletproof like the lore says? Strong, yes. Unbreakable, no. We just watched it crumple, by design. If you're into plain English safety breakdowns, hit subscribe and stay with me. This is Recall Roadmap with Morgan, and we keep it calm, clear, and real. Up next, we go from steel to people, airbags, belts, and what the cabin did to protect everyone inside. What's inside to soften the blow? Plenty. The Cybertruck carries front airbags for driver and passenger, side airbags in the seats, and side curtain airbags for head protection. In the footage and stills I pulled, the front bags are fully inflated right after impact, absorbing torso energy and keeping heads off the hard bits. Here's the eyebrow raiser. In the government frontal test, the passenger's knee airbag didn't deploy on purpose. That design choice led to the 4-star passenger result. In rollover testing and ramp roll clips, the roof shows bending but doesn't cave. The A-pillars hold their shape, and I'm not seeing intrusion into the headspace. One clip even shows the windshield severely cracked, but not completely shattered, which fits with a rigid cabin that keeps its frame even when glass is spidered. Added up and the restraint system is doing its job. Belts holding, bags cushioning, cabin staying livable. Comment AIR safe if you like seeing the bags do the heavy lifting. Now, lab tests are one thing, real roads are another. Let's check a few real-world crashes and see if people actually walk away the way these tests suggest. Lab scores matter, but the street is the final exam. One of the wildest clips came from Inner Mongolia in July 2024. A Cybertruck flipped off a dune and tumbled hard. Reports called it almost completely destroyed. The driver walked away without major injuries. That lines up with what we saw in testing. A rigid passenger cell and airbags doing their jobs. There have also been high-profile crashes here in the U.S. In one tragic California case, investigators pointed to speed and drugs as the causes. There was no finding that the Cybertruck structure failed. I'm careful with these stories because every crash is different, and we should never guess causes. But early real-world data suggests the cabin is protective, especially in rollovers and frontal hits where the structure is designed to take the beating. I review police summaries and talk with safety colleagues for context, not just social clips, so we keep it factual. Feeling a bit more confident? Drop tough if you think this thing can take a hit. Now, how does it stack up against other electric trucks that also pride themselves on safety? Time to compare rivals head-to-head. Safety is a team sport these days. The Ford F-150 Lightning has strong scores too, with 5-star NHTSA ratings and top IIHS honors in recent model years. Rivian's R1T earned an IEHS top safety pick in 2023, with reinforced rockers and a serious airbag suite. When I watched side-by-side frontal crush footage of Cybertruck versus Lightning, the fronts looked surprisingly similar. Big peel back of the nose, but passenger cages staying intact. Even the commentator said it's hard to say which did better just from the video. That's the modern truck story. Lots of smart crumple design, lots of airbags, very solid cabins. My read as a safety investigator is simple. The Cybertruck is competitive at the top. It isn't miles ahead and it isn't behind. It sits in that elite pack of very safe pickups. Tell me your pick in the comments. Cybertruck, Lightning, R1T, or something else, based on safety only. We've covered scores and rivals. Now let's talk about what happens after a crash, when you face a repair bill and an insurance quote. Your wallet needs safety too. Strength is great until you have to fix it. That ultra-hard 30X stainless is tough to dent, but when it does bend, most body shops can't work it with normal tools. Plan on Tesla-approved shops or specialists. That raises repair cost. Tesla's counter is those modular crash parts, front and rear castings and crash cans that are replaceable. Swapping a damaged module can be cleaner than cutting and welding a bent frame rail, but big castings still aren't cheap. On insurance, EVs often carry premiums 10 to 30% higher, mainly due to battery packs, sensors, and parts pricing. Early Cybertruck owners report higher quotes until insurers gather more data. Tesla's own insurance can come in 20 to 30% lower if your driving data and vehicle condition are excellent, but that isn't universal. For context, a March 2025 recall hit about 46,000 Cybertrucks for a windshield issue. It wasn't structural, but insurers and regulators watch all safety headlines. I reviewed rate studies and Tesla repair procedures so you don't have to. Share your EV quote stories below. We've now covered footage, ratings, design, and costs. Let's bring it home with a clear, calm verdict. Here's my bottom line. The Cybertruck's crash performance is strong. We watched the nose get sacrificed while the cabin stayed intact. The NHTSA scorecard is 5 stars overall with that one wrinkle, a 4-star front passenger result due to the knee airbag being off by design. Real-world clips like the dune rollover where the driver walked away support the idea of a tough passenger cell. The design trade-offs are real. That stainless shell and big castings can be costly to fix. Insurance may be higher at first, but on pure crash safety, this truck stands with the best. I'm Morgan Lane, and I'll keep digging through reports and crash data so you don't have to. Thanks for watching. If you learned something useful, hit subscribe and share this with someone shopping for a truck. Do you feel safer now about the Cybertruck? And quick note before we go, whether you love or doubt Tesla, I'm here to keep the debate smart, calm, and fact-based. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next deep dive on Recall Roadmap with Morgan.